Hey everybody, welcome to episode 69 of Powerbombshells. This is 69 on or episode 69 on 69. I am Sam, that is Mel, and we are not your typical broads talking about your typical wrestling. And thank you for joining us on this nice Friday, which is obviously not when we typically do our show,
Well,
but
we've got stuff going on,
we
so
do. I have some family stuff to attend to on Sunday, and I thought we would go a day early, and then Mel was like, "Why don't we just do episode 69 on June the 9th?" And that was a brilliant idea. So here we are.
I'm kind of brilliant. It happens.
It happens from time to time.
Here and there.
So Daza guessed that you would be wearing a pink hat today, and
I
then
have a pink hat, and I didn't even think about wearing my pink hat.
we'll have to wear that soon.
Not for the like. I had a pink hat before they were cool, as it
Right.
as I like that. It was long before there was anything behind it.
Yeah.
Not it was an apolitical pink hat I picked up along the line.
Nikki says that you have a great hat.
Thank you. Thank you. Did a little improvising. I don't always like, I mean, we have a lot of hats in the house, but they're not all, some of them are very elaborate and some of them are very just not like, it's like, that doesn't work.
Yeah, I think this is perfect.
This is
It's
perfect.
perfect for today. I think that was an excellent choice.
I really thought I'd lean into it since we were. So,
I love that you did. That is great. Got some retweets. Fight Game Media was shouting us out that we're live, especially now because if you've been on my Twitter or Power Bombshells Twitter in the last couple of days, you know that I've been tweeting a lot, but this is not our normal time. Our normal time. So we wanted to make sure that the people knew. And so shout out to Fight Game Media for making sure for tweeting out that we were live.
bunch of cool people there. We appreciate yeah, Daza, read Daza's
Yeah,
comment.
Daza said it's midnight here, so may not last long, but just wanted to say hi. Hi. Hope
We're
you are
glad you
having a
stopped by, though. I know it was a little late for our friends in the UK
yeah.
and the Euro, but we were like, we had to wedge it in between a whole bunch of different other people
Yeah.
things, and we want to make sure that we're being. They love us so much. We get throughout the week. I love listening to our network shows. We get a lot of love, and I appreciate
We
it,
do.
guys.
We
I
do. They're the
really
best.
do.
We
Thank
have a
you.
really great crew, and so I appreciate that. And I hope, Daza, I hope that you are having a nice night, however long you stay.
Yes, definitely. And you are a wonderful addition to the chatter in the
Yes, thank
Discord.
you to the PBS posse. I don't know if we ever decided for sure
We call it what we
what the
want.
name
We'll
is,
switch it up
but
when we feel like it.
we're glad that you're here and part of it, and Nikki too, and Brad who is not here, but I know it's also a Friday night at 7, so
I think Brad said he couldn't make it for work reasons
that's
also, but
completely understandable. Yeah, because
but
I
he did get, and I mean, to the great credit of everyone, and I appreciate, I know a lot of people will watch back and listen, but
yeah, absolutely.
I really appreciate the guys that you guys that are participating in the Discord, even dropping by to let us know. Like, we appreciate that you're here. It's so cool when you're like, sorry, I'm not going to be there. That's like the nicest thing ever.
Yeah, that's so
And
cool. That
I really love that. I
we
mean,
appreciate that you
all the
think of
stuff
us
that
with
goes
that.
on in the comments kind of
Yeah,
sort of continues on in our channel. It's a lot of fun, and
that's great.
it's so I really appreciate like hanging out with you guys during the week and having that channel as a thing. And yeah,
Daza said he was working till 9 p.m. Yuck.
oh, that's
Yeah, I feel
tacky.
you. I work from home, but I got done at which is why we are not doing a show at 6:09 on 6/9. It's because
Right.
I get done at work at 6 o'clock, and of course my boss decided to call me at 5:55 to tell me. I mean, it was nothing. It was just he was telling me something, and he was like, "Oh, before I forget," and he just told me. I mean, it wasn't a big deal, but I was like, "Oh, please don't call now." I was like, "I have a live stream in like an hour."
Of course. It always happens that way. You
Yes.
know that
So we went
already.
with 7 o'clock, even though we are 6 p.m. Eastern. I mean Central. So for one time zone.
For one of you. I
For
mean,
one of you, it
it's
will
six,
be
it's always 69 somewhere.
yes. And it's actually almost 69. We were like 2 minutes away. So there you go.
Yeah, well, there we go. I love it, and it's there's a lot of good stuff going on here.
There is.
I've got some fun surprises for you, but
Oh,
I want to
good. I'm
make sure
excited.
that yeah,
I
I want
can't.
to make sure that I'll see if I'm good at my well. I'm going to test my timing today, so we'll.
Okay. I appreciate that. This should be
I do have some, and I even have images for some of the stuff we're talking about.
yay. Look
I
at us. We're still working on it. We're still trying to look semi-professional over here with photos and things of that nature.
it's awesome.
Yeah, I
Cool.
completely forgot because I remembered something we were talking about, and I was like, "Why didn't I send Mel the images for this?" And I was like, "I don't know if it's just because I forgot about the images, or because we're doing a show on a Friday versus a Sunday." Because we were like trying to come up with topics for this week, and I was like, "Well, nothing has aired yet," and I was like,
There are no images because we are 3 hours Eastern time away from Rampage,
Right.
and the G1 brackets come out tomorrow. Saturday.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so Mel and I were like, what do we talk about? We were like, because this was like Monday. We were like, what do we talk about? We were like, well, I was like, Dynamite hasn't happened yet. Rampage hasn't happened. We already talked about the Forbidden Door matches. We talked about that on Sunday. So
oh, that's right, because we were like right on top of that because the press conference had happened by the time we went on.
Yeah,
I threw some images in there, and then I was like, what are you doing? We talk about it. See, I forget. We're the first people.
Yeah, we were the first people.
Technically, Sunday's the first day of the week, okay, folks?
Right,
So
exactly. And so we already had we had John on, so we had our discussion on which if they should double main event or where the matches happen. Like we are the two big matches. Like we've already been talking about it.
Yeah, we're way ahead.
We're ahead.
Plus, we've been booking a whole bunch of this stuff already.
We have,
I mean,
even though there is, which we'll get to, there is another rumored match or that was supposed to have happened potentially, and so we'll get to that potential rumor. But yeah, so bear with us while we have because now it's like now we won't be on till next Sunday, so everybody will have like 10 days to catch up with us, and like the brackets are already be out. Dynamite will have happened again.
Well, I figure that everyone can hear our icy hot takes on the
right.
On the G1 and everything else. I mean, everyone will still want us to weigh in. I feel
exactly.
I mean,
yes,
we're so very, very important voices
this is true
in the wrestling community. Everyone's waiting to hear what the Powerbombshells have to say.
Of course.
But, it'll be fine. If you get an extended version, we'll drop this. What I'll do is I'll probably right after the show, I'll take care of that and probably drop the audio first thing in the morning. So
that'll be
first
good.
thing Saturday, or maybe even right after, depending on how audacious I get, depending on how late it is.
Depending how nice she wants to be.
Because, get our people listening to it, get them back on the live stream. Yeah. And guys, if you can subscribe to our YouTube. I know it's really annoying, but subscribing to the Fight Game YouTube channel is like probably the best way you can help us, because the more subscribers we get, the more people get to hear about what's going on here and the live streams. And more than even just watching the videos, subscribing to the channel is a huge one.
It is a really huge help. And it's not just like
to jump on Mike and JD's coattails really hard, and they get a lot of views. So if they tell you to subscribe to YouTube,
they are killing it.
We can really, really make a difference in your combat sport.
And then also we've got the wonderful Speaking of Strong Style show is also on YouTube, and they've been going live a lot lately. They typically go live on Tuesdays when I'm in my that's my work meeting is every Tuesday. Like I'm always in my work meeting when they're live, and so I always forget, because I'm always like, oh, I'm gonna tweet when they're live, like, and then when they go live, it's usually because I go first in our calls, and so it's usually when I'm going first. So I'm like, oh no, but they are that's a wonderful show, especially if you are really into New Japan. Then please, definitely, I recommend checking out Speaking of Strong Style.
Oh my gosh, this is the best time to be watching Speaking of Strong Style. I think even James and Kevin are gonna try and poach. That's Jeremy and Steven over there at the. If I'm make sure I'm getting that, but because they are nothing but New Japan. Like they cover only New Japan. I mean, Japanese wrestling, but New Japan
is the main.
Specifically, they are the ones that know the most about like what's going on in canon. And so I was listening to even James and Kevin this week, and they're like, "We need to get the boss so bad." And I'm like, "You do.
those are the two.
And
of the
I
best
might
people
hang
to
out
catch
with
up
them
from.
after Forbidden Door. So
That'll
we
be cool.
definitely had a chat about that.
Yeah,
And
so
that'll
and
be
if you
really
are
fun. So
yeah, because Mel will be at she will be at Forbidden Door.
if
So
I make it, if I make it through. Seriously.
I will be doing the pre show for Forbidden Door. I think we're working on trying to get some guests, so you don't have to just listen to me talk to myself.
And we have so many people to
Yeah.
choose from for that show.
Yes.
See, it's a giant crossover Power Bombshells episode. It's a giant.
We're gonna have more honorary bombshells on, I believe.
Honorary broads.
Or
there might be new ones.
Yes.
There might even be new ones.
There could be. You never know. So you'll have to tune in and make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, because then you will be notified when we go live before Forbidden Door, if I could get the word out.
Yeah, we love the Forbidden Door.
We do love the Forbidden Door.
I'm actually wearing my Forbidden Door shirt. I don't think you can really tell, but no, actually, once they made those, because I didn't believe it until the press conference. I wasn't 100%. I know last week everyone was like, yeah, and then Dave said, yeah, and I was like, not until, and then when Obari and all of those guys were like, yes, it's 100%. I was like, holy crap. And now there's all this chatter about, God, of course I lost his name, Kotobushi running in at some point, because that might be where Cody, where did that come from?
Coda.
Yeah, hey, right on, because Nikki is an honorary
she is, so she says she can always step in if needed. So listen, so then at least you won't have to hear me talk to myself for an hour.
It'll be interesting. We always deliver, you guys. We give the people what they want.
We've gotten the pre-show has become our thing, and so we enjoy doing the pre-shows for the big show. So
I'll see if I can pop in, just because it'll depend. We'll be checked in and everything, because we'll be there on the day. And then there's stuff I found out that the Hockey Hall of Fame is in Toronto, and I'm a total nerd, and I was like, what? So I might try and do some stuff like that. And then, I mean, Saturday we might try and hit the Collision show. We'll see what happens, because that's when we're going. It's not that far. It's 3.5 hours, but
but still, you still got to travel and stuff.
You got to drive, and there's a border crossing.
Right, you got a lot to deal with on top of that.
I'm very plus, I got to go find myself some Tim Hortons and some poutine like immediately, and so I mean, we'll see what happens on Sunday. But
so then we may have some live correspondence from Mel, or maybe Mel will hop on the Instagram and maybe she'll do some Insta story or something for us, or
something.
Maybe she'll post her Tim Hortons order on the Instagram. So you should follow us at Power Bombshells.
Oh my god, totally.
Yes. So follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at Power Bombshells, in case. Well, we do have some pictures up there, and then that way you're all prepared when
I'm trying to get better. Sam's trying to get better. We're really working. I've got
pictures stored in my phone. I just need to get around to posting them.
I'm terrible. The thing is, I don't take selfies, because I just don't take selfies. I'm not like, it's a weird thing, because I was pre-camera on everything, so I existed in the pre-digital camera age. And so I had like the camera shy thing. And then after a while, now that we're so immune to it, it's just like, you can't be, but I don't. So I never really kind of got in that weirdness. So mine always look, but I actually kind we lean into them looking ridiculous. I think it works for me.
It's fun.
It's
and
like,
even we don't
if I don't try, they usually come out perfect.
I will go ahead and I think this may be Amazon that's pulling up. So if you hear a dog barking, Amazon is Miley's nemesis, and we are expecting an order today.
Dude.
We're expecting, and then she's going to be mad that not only is her nemesis here, they are not bringing her anything. It's actually a cat tree for Roman.
No.
So she's going to be extra mad because there's nothing and there's a hummingbird feeder in there. So there's nothing for Miley and that. So I just saw someone come up the street. I don't know if that's them or not, but I just wanted to prepare everybody.
When there's nothing in the box for them.
Yeah. So
they always think the box is for them.
Yes. And Miley thinks that Amazon, UPS, and FedEx are a threat. And so, Nikki says we're outside. So Nikki is watching from her phone, apparently.
Okay, awesome.
We appreciate, or from live. So we appreciate
Nikki's
that.
on it.
Yeah, Nikki's on it. So then maybe you will not. Then I guess that means you will not have to hear Miley barking because she. Mm-hmm. So I apologize in advance if that happens. But But yeah, so on the back to the social media stuff. But yes, I've got images from wrestling shows that I've got so many Title Belt Pro pictures that I need to post. So
it's all dogs and wrestling. So,
yeah.
but it's what else do you really need?
Daza said you get hummingbirds. Cool. We do get hummingbirds pretty
Super
often.
warm or salmon.
Yeah, so we generally get them. But we were having our hummingbird feeder broke last year, and then we were having an issue with ants. So I had to look into a hummingbird feeder that has an ant moat to keep them from getting to the sugar water. We don't use the red stuff. That's not good for hummingbirds. That's actually really bad for them.
Got bad stuff in it. It's got chemicals in it. You
we
have to
make
make it yourself.
We do. We've been doing that for the last few years. We make it ourselves, yes, so that we can attract the hummingbirds. And it's going to get really hot. It's already getting hot. It's been in the 80s, and on top of dealing with the air quality because the wildfires in Canada have made it all the way down here. We're in code orange now, but 2 days ago we were code red, which is unlike it being the wrestling move.
I was going to say is today has been the worst day, and Canada's on fire, and it's very close. God, yeah, I mean, imagine. It's not. It is fundamentally it's way closer. I mean, it's like the northern Pennsylvania and northern New York and New York City, but all along that chain, and we are right because of the Great Lakes and the systems there. So it has been, and especially up north, where we are and where I'm in Metro Detroit area, kind of like right at the right spot. We're just north of the city, and we're just, south, and we're south of everything. So we're kind of in an area. It hasn't been cloudy here. It's been hazy. And you can actually, the problem is that you can smell it sometimes and things like that. Yeah. And so today has been the worst day. Although I do have a little bit of a bone to pick there on that front with Mr. Jeff Hawkins over at the Dynamite Show.
Oh, no.
Who's all like, oh, all the people on the East Coast and the Midwest are weak because they can't deal with wildfires. I'm like, dude, call me after 4 feet of snow drops in LA.
Right.
And then it turns 11 degrees with a subarctic wind chill factor, and then we'll talk. Okay, we're not infrastructurally prepared. This is not normal for us.
We don't get snow like that, but we are not infrastructurally prepared.
I will not be called weak by a guy that won't get up before noon. Okay, all right.
Wow. So Jeff Hawkins is going to come.
A person representing a population that won't get up before noon. Okay, because you guys would not survive. You wouldn't survive 1 day of winter here in the Midwest, sir.
Jeff Hawkins is gonna come on Powerbombshells when Mel isn't here and come talk trash about Mel. He's gonna be like, Mel's gone? Good.
Good. He's like, screw you. You want to go to the best Forbidden Door show in the whole wide world? See, this is my worry, and this is my biggest concern. I want to call in after, but I'm concerned that if those two matches are already happening,
right? And
I am going to be in bits.
Yeah.
And if Kota Ibushi comes in, it's like, I was like, I don't know, I may either spontaneously combust, or you might have to carry me out in a bucket. Like my mother-in-law was like, you're going to need masking tape to hold Mel together. I was like, I don't think that's going to be strong enough.
Probably not. Yeah, I got to see Kota
I may mark all the way out by the
Yeah.
time that Danielson and Okada match is over. That is like, and I mean, Danielson is one of those people that like, I mean, one of the the last time I got to see him wrestle was at WrestleMania 35 when he dropped the belt to Kofi Kingston.
Right.
So
right.
he was doing like one of my favorite Danielsons. He was doing the vegan belt Danielson.
Right. Oh,
Fickle. That was such a great. And he's such a, and he's gotten from there, and that was like in WWE. Like you couldn't.
So it's a different Danielson now.
I love it's amazing. This is gonna be, and plus he follows New Japan, and he knows exactly what he's doing with his promos, and I mean, as you can tell,
right?
So we'll see what state I am in, because
we'll see if Mel can actually.
It's not just gonna be like one of the best shows ever. Possibly, it's gonna be like one of the. I've been to so many great shows. I'm so lucky. I just can't believe that they keep and they keep adding things.
Yeah.
They're still like a tag team thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, we
Or-
have. That's what this is crazy. Like Forbidden Door has 2 announced matches. That's it. Nothing
Yeah.
else has been announced, and there's been teases of matches and things like that. So I guess we'll just get to the Forbidden Door conversation because
Was there one on the list? I don't think we put one on the list.
I did. It's the 3rd one down, but we'll jump it up to right now.
Oh, that one. Oh,
So there's
that's
actually
fine.
there's a couple of rumors. So, do you have pictures? I can wait.
Well, I have one sort of fun image to go.
Okay,
with
I've
the
heard about that too, but I will
conversation
let me.
here.
Yes. I'm
This
sure
one here.
Mhm.
Is this the one you were about to talk about?
It actually was not, but we
Okay,
can.
well,
But
that's
it's fine. There's a couple. So there is the rumor. So there apparently was a rumor that Mercedes versus Saraya was supposed to happen on this card. And then of course Mercedes was injured. We still don't know the severity of it. Likely, probably not going to, regardless of what the injury is, not going to be cleared in. What are we at? 2 weeks now, almost 2 weeks now, like 16 days, something like that. So match is obviously not going to be happening. And I guess there was some pushback about like why this match would even happen and things like that. But Mercedes and Saraya are friends. Like Saraya said on Renee's podcast when she got cleared to find out that she would actually be able to wrestle again.
Have a picture of that.
One of the very first people she called was Mercedes to tell her, because obviously they have a connection. Mercedes is who she was in the ring with when she was initially injured, and people were. Some of Saraya's fans were going after Mercedes, saying she paralyzed her and ruined her career and all these terrible things. And of course, Saraya's like, of course, things happen in the ring. I, of course, have never blamed her for it. So she was like, I still, because of that relationship we had, I wanted her to know. And so that was she's like, literally one of the first people I contacted from my car when I found out I was cleared was Mercedes. So, and I was like, and Mercedes is she's going to call the shots. She's going to tell Tony, I will come wrestle at Forbidden Door, but this is what I want. And I'm pretty sure Tony's going to do whatever Mercedes would like. If she says, I would like to, maybe if she says she wants to wrestle Kenny Omega, he might say no to that because he doesn't like the intergender wrestling, but pretty much anything.
I would be here for that match, by the way.
I'm same. So I was like, but whatever Mercedes wants, I think he probably would have given her. And even Tony said on the media call, he's like, only she and I know what was discussed and what we talked about. So this rumor could just be a rumor that was people just making assumptions that it would be Saraya. Maybe this is something that Tony and Mercedes talked about, but regardless, this match is not happening at Forbidden Door now, if it ever was in the to begin with. But yeah, so apparently there was some pushback on that. But then there's been another, before we get to the Stardom thing, there was another match that's been kind of rumored is CM Punk versus Kenta.
Now that one I did not have a picture for because I only heard about that this morning, and
it's
I was
more or less been a rumor, but it's a rumor that has credence to it. It's something that could easily happen because Kenta obviously is New Japan. He's available. CM Punk will be back. He'll be back right before, or no, well, Collision. Yeah, Collision's a week after, or like 8 days after before Forbidden Door, I should say. Yes, 8 days before Forbidden Door. And then, so conceivably this match could happen if they wanted it to. And Kenta has been playing into, because there was a clip of CM Punk talking about like he uses the GTS. He was like, I stole it from Kenta. I didn't try to change the name because it's from Kenta. And so, and Kenta, that's been, he's openly talked about that for years. And so Kenta has basically said, if you want this match to happen, then Tony has to pay me. So he was like, give me the bag and I will come. And then today he tweeted and said, oh no, somebody said something like, I can't remember, a fan said something like, I think he said Tony's not going to pay you or something like that. And he would rather it be CM Punk versus Naito. And and Kenta said, well, if Tony is not going to pay me, let it be Naito. I don't care. He was like, I don't need this match. Just give me money. So I was like, I could very easily see this match happening just because Kenta is just Kenta. And he's
Do you think that Punk would want that match?
Yeah, I do.
You think he would?
Think so. I think he would, just because I don't think he's going to back down from Kenta. Kenta's obviously I don't want to say, because I don't know how healthy CM Punk is, so I don't want to say that he's up. But CM Punk hasn't been in a ring since last September, at least in a match. As far as I'm sure he's been training in a ring, but as far as a match, but Kenta is out here. he's the strong champion. He just won the Defy. He won the Defy championship last week from Nick Wayne. So he's got 2 titles right now. And so,
Yeah, fair enough. You're
so
right.
maybe
That's right.
maybe if Punk says no, it's because Kenta's might be in a little bit better shape than he is. So
Maybe.
Kenta might be a little angry. So so I think it would be. I hope the match happens just because I think it would be a lot of
Well, yeah,
fun.
no, I think it would be a
It would be a
fascinating
great match.
match.
But
That's
then I
a
was like, but I wouldn't
very
even.
interesting
Yeah,
match now.
yeah, and
Today, right now.
especially because the way Kenta's been feeding into it,
Yeah.
because it reminds me kind of like when Kenta was John Moxley, and he kept he kept going on
He's
after him on
just a
Twitter.
needler. That's
Yeah,
Kenta.
he is. Kenta's very good at
He's
it.
just, I'm going to antagonize the
Yeah.
ever-loving F out of you just because I can.
Yeah, exactly.
Until you give me this fight.
Yeah, Kenta,
And then I will Kenta the crap out of you.
exactly, and I fully expect that. I
So,
expect
like, strong style, old school.
That's what I was gonna say. Kenta will be Kenta times 10 in that ring if it happens.
That would actually fundamentally be a safer match for Punk to do.
That is true.
Because there wouldn't be a lot of flipping and crazy
That's
crap like
That's
that.
a good point. Kenta would definitely
So
keep
it would
at pace.
probably, I mean, if he wants to, like, if Punk wants to kind of like talk, like, I mean, best of the world and stuff, and do a little, like, kind of broaden his, like, I mean, because it'd be great to see it. So, like,
Yeah.
maybe it's the perfect person for him to wrestle. And I mean, he'd have to take some chops and all kinds of crap like that. And I mean, if it fit that difference, I mean, Kenta's not climbing on and doing dives off the top rope much. I mean,
exactly.
that's not his game.
Yeah,
So.
and if CM Punk has learned anything, he might not be diving over any barricades.
Yeah.
Into the audience. So
Agreed.
then they'll just be trying to see who
Please
can GTS, who gets the GTS first, because you have to win. Whoever hits the GTS is gonna have to win with it.
Yeah, true.
You have to have that. Grace said it should happen on Collision. Hey, that would work too. Wherever I can see it, I will take
That's a great match for Collision in Toronto.
I was just about to say that would be a great
because
match there.
Those tickets are not a moving. I have no worries in the world that when we walk now, that's the second Saturday, so we'll see after the first Saturday.
Yeah. Well, and then
but I'm still not worried about getting tickets.
Yeah, I wouldn't be either. And I was actually talking to somebody who lives in the Toronto area, and we were talking about Hamilton, which is the following week, which will be episode 3, and how their tickets are not moving at all. And he was telling me that Hamilton is not that far from Toronto. He's like, it's like a 45-minute drive with regular traffic. And he was like, he's like, the area is kind of already oversaturated, and people are buying tickets to Forbidden Door, so if they probably can't swing Collision too, if they're buying tickets to Forbidden Door and there's Dynamite that week as well. He was like, he's like, I'm not surprised that they're not selling tickets. And I didn't realize, because I'm not obviously very familiar with that area, so I didn't realize how close Hamilton was until he was telling me that. And I was like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. I mean,
it's
still
a weird time, because just like Paul Fontaine has been saying this for weeks, and I'm glad that he's been bringing it up, because it's like, it needs to be said that this time of year, because it's cold, we're cold weather areas. So when it gets nice, we F off to our cabins up north. And I mean, everybody in this state has a cabin up north. Like, I mean, it's tough right now with everything that's going on, but people go away. They don't want to be, it gets hot here, so you're breathing air conditioning, which you understand, because you down in the South in the air, you don't want to be stuck inside. You want to be out where we need to be out and about.
Yeah.
It's so, I mean,
well, it's kind of like,
plus we've been clogged up for the last few years because of the pandemic in general. So even more than ever, I mean, I think I was watching some silly thing just because I'm a traveler and we like to do things. And it's like AAA expects there to be like a 300% increase in travel this summer. And I'm like,
I believe it.
You know what? Yeah. Because finally, I mean, look at the Japan thing, and they are pushing tourism. They've like, New Japan did a complete overhaul of their website so that people from outside Japan, Westerners specifically, but everybody can get tickets easier on their website, because they are like,
that makes sense.
We're open.
Yeah, they've definitely been pushing that a lot. And it kind of, that even reminds me of like and for baseball, like Miami, where the Marlins
Mm-hmm.
play, like their attendance is always terrible because in the summertime people want to be at the beach, like they want to be
Outside.
doing things outside. I mean, even when you're not putting a great product out, that's also an issue too. But
Well,
but
yeah,
that
that
there is
doesn't
that
help.
but there is that issue that like people want to. I mean, I understand that's a bet you have to make, and I do understand like why Tony's going to Canada. Like he obviously want now that they can travel because obviously the pandemic put their travel schedule on hold for a while, and
Mm-hmm.
they didn't get to do a lot of things. And so I completely get like wanting to go into Canada and tap into that market, but then he's doing so much at one time, and so it's a lot. And now he's figured. I mean, and some of this stuff is going to have to happen through trial and error. That's why they're doing the House Rules show, is they're trying to figure out like, are there new markets? Will people come to this? So like I get it, but then like on the other hand, so now you're seeing collision with like, I don't know if the ticket sales are still the same, but at one point the Hamilton show had sold 700 tickets. Like that's
Wow.
that's
I will take a look at that one because I'm curious about it.
yeah,
And
so that's the following week after. So that will be collision. That will be the third collision episode. And I was like, once people kind of see what it is, maybe that'll move them more. But yeah, I mean, if I was going to Forbidden Door, then I'm not going to be probably hustling to go. Or you could go see Collision in Toronto and go to Forbidden Door the next day, like you.
Well, they have a captive audience there, is what I would say. Is we know there are over there's like 18,000 tickets sold, or something, like up close to 20,000 tickets sold for that. So people are gonna be there. I mean, we can't possibly be the only people that are going to come in the night.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm sure there's plenty of people. Well, and people who are traveling in from other places like you are. I mean, if they're traveling in, from other states, then if they're already there, then they're going to go to Collision
or
too.
countries.
So, yeah, or
Toronto is actually, because that is a major port. That's a really easy airport to get in and out of for most places, because it's a easy jump layover for. I mean, even if all things being equal, and the rumors of All In not being about in the first place, my Irish friends might have come over here too, but the rumors of Tony doing something in their time zone for a change were so hot that they were like, we're gonna hold out. And I'm glad they did, because I need someone in that stadium telling me exactly what's happening. Because I mean, I'm happy to live report back to everyone and let you guys know too.
Yeah, I can't wait. And then of course we know the following week we'll have, your reactions and what you liked and what the experience was like and how the crowd was. So we'll definitely get all of that.
Plus I get to compare the two, because that's going to be really, my biggest thing is like, because everyone's so much happier with everyone's so happy with the build, because I love there's so much revisionism going on. It's like everyone's like, the build was terrible and it was all these things. I'm like, Adam Cole had a concussion that was already in question. Okada wasn't sure he was going to even wrestle in the G1. Kenny Omega was hurt. CM Punk was hurt. Like, there was
people got hurt on the way, and that's how Clark Connors even got on the card last year,
because Hiromu got COVID.
Yeah, that show was so snake bitten.
How do you build a show when you don't even know that the guy that you said yesterday is going to be able to get on the plane tomorrow?
Right. And remember, we were even not sure about Okada because his wife was due to give birth in that time period, and we weren't sure if he was going to be able to make it because of that. So that show was really snake bitten, and then still ended up being the best show of the year. And so now you have Forbidden Door 2, who have to at least live up to it, if not surpass the first one. And I guess that's probably why they've made the two matches that they've
everyone's so happy about the build now. Everybody's happy. I love it. They're showing me who Okada is on the TV. Yay!
And now these casuals know who he is.
It's fine. I don't care. It's fine. Whatever it takes for you to see the greatest ever.
Yes, exactly. So what is I think you might know a little bit more about it than I do with the AEW and Stardom graphic that we put up there.
The only thing I saw was that there was a text that they had asked if AEW was interested, and that both sides had essentially reached out. AEW had asked Stardom if they were interested in being involved in the program, at Forbidden Door.
Okay.
And the Forbidden Door or Stardom, because Rossi can be Rossi, and you never know.
Right.
And he's still like, people don't understand that Stardom, it's not like now part of New Japan. It's still its own promotion. It's still run by its own booker. It's just a television thing and a whole bunch of other stuff because it doesn't work the same as here. So they are, yes, they are owned by an entity that is the same. But Rossi Ogawa is still the booker of Stardom, and he is still the boss of Stardom. And whatever beefs he has with whatever people or still whatever. I mean, I don't know much about it, but I think it's out there. Yeah. But regardless of that, there was overtures from AEW that have now been where Stardom is like, yeah, okay, let's talk about doing some stuff.
Did Rossi finally figure out that WWE is not going to play ball with him?
Well, I think they're like, I think there was like a statement even about them, because they were talking essentially about how they shoehorned that last year's match onto the card,
the women's match,
and they don't want to do that and see that happen again. So they feel like they should reach out to and do it so that it can be done, done properly.
Have Mayu bring the IWGP Women's Championship.
I mean, I think their whole thing is like, if they can find a way to be showcased properly, it sounds like he's interested.
Well, and it also sounds like if they do it, and if there is a show that same day, that he's not going to send like.
And that was why the question was at large, was because they already had a show. And so because that's what was like, they're not going to send their talent to Forbidden Door because they have a show that day. Rossi has now said, let's have a conversation, as long as you're going to put Stardom, make them like look good. Yeah. Which is like, what? Duh.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Like, if Tony is gonna send somebody to Stardom, then he's gonna be like, make my women look good.
Right, like, exactly.
So it makes complete sense. Like, Tony's not an idiot. And then I was like, I mean, hopefully they've been talking about this for a while, but we're 2.5 weeks out from this show, so I don't know what I'm hoping. Like we talked about in the show last week, I really just hope that they're going to put Willow on this card. But I would like to see, of course, as both of us being proponents of women's wrestling, we would like to see the TBS title on, or at least the champion, even if it's not a title match. I would like to see the TBS champion on there.
Yeah, the TBS can work for it.
I would like to see the TNT title on there, or the women's title on there as well, with Toni Storm. And so, but I don't know. We also know that New Japan is a mostly male company and promotion, and that's what they promote. And so I will not be shocked if there is only a single women's match. I wish that there would be more, but I am not going to hold my breath for 3 women's matches. I would love it, but I don't see that happening. If they're going to pick a women's match, and if Mayu is tied up with her prior commitments to Stardom, then I don't see the IWGP Women's Championship being defended on this card. But I was like, I would hopefully see Willow. And we got to see Willow defended her title last night on ROH against Rachel Ellering.
Oh,
and it was a really great match. And so
what you need to do is you need to put out an APB to Fight Game Media Network, gentlemen, that you do in fact cover the the ROH historian in our crew doesn't even realize that we have an ROH actual, like, someone. So they kind of know you cover it, but they can never remember. But they remember to ask you.
Yes,
sort of. So you need to put out just a quick APB to the Fight Game boys, gentlemen, the men of that do the fun shows that I was talking about earlier. That, yes, guys, I'm watching every week. So if you have a question for me, just let me.
Definitely, I will do that.
And that's I'm watching Sam's thing. You can ask.
I'm watching every Thursday, and it is in part because I cover it, but I actually really enjoy it. Last night was episode 15. And they've always, like, it's been really good. And now they've brought in board of directors, which are 2 it's TV authority figures. It's Stokely Hathaway and Jerry Lynn. So I can only imagine how this is going to play out. It sounds like fun. And putting Stokely on TV is always a good idea.
Always.
So I thought that they were putting him on Collision because Stokely had said in the past when he did the interview with Renee that the firm was originally supposed to do something with CM Punk after All Out because CM Punk specifically wanted to work with Stokely Hathaway because he thinks he's very talented, which clearly he is. So I thought originally when those little videos were coming out, I assumed he was going to Collision, but I'm very happy that he'll be on ROH too because that'll be fun, especially because
it's having impact on the canon. And though they don't want to admit it, they are going to have to deal with it. And so you need to fill them in on the canon the same way Jeremy and Steven have to fill everyone else in on the New Japan canon. So you're the third. You're like the third. I listened to all of them, and I'm like, I'm going to be the master coordinator of all of you who need each other for your canon so that you can all like put together like a. Kevin Ely always has a great idea about doing a character Bible, or what I used to call like character bios, where you would have a whole book of like what's this person's this and whatever, and like we could have the Fight Game Media version of it because we all would
be all in for that. That would be really cool to have. But
yes, you know, the little pop on each other's and be like, let me tell you, here's the little canon tip for you about New Japan or about ROH. And just like pop in on their shows and give them little tips about.
I should.
Let me fill you in, Jeff and Paul, or James and Kevin, or
yes, I would love to do that. Especially,
they all sort of remember, but they can't remember. But they know.
Well, if you are watching right now, and I'll tweet it later.
Yes,
I do cover ROH for Daily DDT, so I watch it every single week. I have not missed an episode. I have watched both. I have watched the pay-per-views. Death Before Dishonor is coming up on July. I believe it's the 21st. That will be.
We're all this is where we nerd out. Is that we all say that we right? We all will end up buying Death Before Dishonor, or at least a fair number of us. I guarantee of the list of those names. I guarantee that most of us will end up watching the pay-per-views. Which I guess, hey, we're still giving them our money.
Yes. That's exactly
that's important.
That's true. They're getting the money, which is good. And Athena, I will tell you, and I've said it on Twitter. Brad has said it as well, and I think Nikki has too. Athena has been killing it in ROH. She is, I would say, is the best women's champion. I would argue in wrestling right now. I would say Athena there's nobody doing what Athena is doing, and she's killing it now. She's entered into this feud with Kiera Hogan that's been going on a few weeks, and it's nice to see what Kiera is doing because Kiera is a former Knockouts champion, and so it's time that they started treating her as somebody who is a former champion and not just kind of leaving her on YouTube. So I'm glad to see her getting this spot, and her chemistry with Athena is great.
I think the boys at Dynamite should really like her and have a lot of good things to say about her. So
yes,
it's tough. It's tricky. We all hate Bleacher Report. And we all have like a lot of commitments to other wrestling.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it's tough.
If you are, I know your schedules are full, but if you happen to have Thursdays free, or just watch it, it is on because it's on Honor Club. You can watch it at any time.
Right.
If you have the time to spare and the $10 a month to spare, I would highly recommend it. It is well worth your $10, especially because not only are they showcasing like all these great wrestlers we've seen in AEW, and they're bringing in former ROH wrestlers, but they're also bringing in a lot of New Japan talent as well. And that reminds me, so last week when I covered it, there were 3 title matches last week, and they did a double main event, and Ian Riccaboni quote tweeted my article. I thought that was very cool.
No.
Yeah, I was really excited. I was like, love Ian.
He retweeted me recently because I said that him and Caprice and Chris Charlton should all do, or I said that Ian Riccaboni and Chris Charlton should show down in a sing-off.
I would love that.
And Ian retweeted me, and he tagged Alex Kozlov and Caprice. Perfect. And said, these are the 4, like me and these 3 people are the people. And he's like, but he was giving a huge shout out to Caprice and Alex. He was like, these are the real geniuses at it. I just sing along with them. And then apparently Chris Shelton threw a little heat at him on that one of those broadcasts.
They've been jabbing. They've been needling each other.
And I was like, we need a bet. I was like, and he was like, well, these are the guys that would really matter. And so I quote tweeted him, and I was like, Battle Royale. Let's go.
Let's go. I'm ready for it. And Nikki said I was excited for you. I love Ian and Caprice so much. I do too. And last night, so they always sing Willow's theme, or they usually rap it. But last night Caprice was singing it, and Ian loved it, and of course, grumpy old Nigel hated it because he
Of
hates
course.
everything fun.
But that's like, that's why Nigel is awesome.
Yes. I wonder if he's gonna be doing. I wonder if he's gonna keep doing commentary now that ROH will be. So they last week they filmed 4 episodes in Orlando, which was supposedly the last shows they're doing there because ROH will be filmed before Collision when they go on the road. So I'm wondering if Nigel will be on the road with them, or if I'm curious to see how that if he'll do the ROH shows like that. I mean, they air later, so maybe they'll just kind of pre-tape comment, or they just tape commentary beforehand. So maybe that they'll be doing that. Then I want to go over here to the comments because we haven't had a chance to say hello to Brad yet because he was able to join us. So thank you I'm glad that you are here. I hope that you have had a nice day.
69 dudes! 69 dudes! 69 dudes!
Perfect.
You're welcome. See, we were very excited.
So Brad said his local wrestling store announced a super huge signing for September 16th, and they're bringing in Motor City Machine Guns. I am very jealous because I have their autographs from where they did the live signing for Impact last year, and I got I treated myself for my birthday and I bought it's a piece of ring mat from I just blanked on which wrestling show it was. So they signed it live on air, and they knew it was the day before my birthday, I think it was, or like 2 days before. And so they wished me a happy birthday. And then you could do an add-on where you could buy, because my birthday's in November, so you could do an add-on where they would fill out a Christmas card for you. So I have a Christmas card signed by Alex and Chris, and I've got it in a shadow box.
That's
hanging
awesome.
on the wall. I've not met them in person, but I have that because Nikki was like, when are you ever probably gonna have a chance like that again? Especially because it's a piece of an actual ring canvas that they wrestled on. So
that's pretty awesome.
Like, yeah, she's like, you have to treat, because I was like, I was like, it's kind of expensive, but kind of not. And she was like, she was enabling me. She was like, no, you have to do this. And I'm glad she pushed me because I was like, well, okay, if Nikki agrees, then But that's awesome, Brad. I'm really excited for you. He's getting to see Chris Bay, and now he gets to see Motor City.
He's rocking.
He is. Him and Kathy are always meeting the coolest people. He's always posting cool pictures of people they're meeting.
Love that. Oh, it's so fun. It's going to be so fun. Like, she's going to remember that shit. That's
Yeah.
so much fun. I'm so happy.
They are both living their best lives over
there.
They
seriously are. I'm so glad we get that shared with us. That's very nice.
Oh, that is right. Nikki said after she bought the second item, Chris said, treat yourself. He did. Do you remember that? Daza says sleeping is winning. I will watch the replay later. Have a great show. Thanks for coming to hang out with us. I hope you have a nice night.
Have a good night, Daza.
And we will talk to you soon. And Nikki said, or maybe it was Alex, and I think it was Chris. Actually, you know what? I think it was Alex. But either way, it was one of the Motor City Machine Guns, and both of them have matches tonight because, like, Impact, which I do watch, I don't keep up with their pay-per-views because Access is not showing them like they had been. They'd been showing them they'd show them like 6 weeks later.
Kind of behind.
They're way behind, and so tonight, Chris Sabin is wrestling Trey McGill to become the 8-time, which he says 8 times. I'm going to spare you that. But he says the 8-time X Division champion. And then Alex Shelley is wrestling Steve Macklin for the Impact World title because out of everything that Alex Shelley has done in Impact, he has never held that title before. I don't see them taking that title off of Steve Macklin anytime soon, but I would love to see Alex Shelley be the world champion. But I don't think the powers will be there going to let me have that right now. But yes, and the women are having, and then Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich are having a dog collar match tonight.
Ooh.
And Trinity is wrestling Deanna tonight as well, which Nikki and I were talking about last night. I was like, what do they do here? Like, I don't see Deanna really dropping that title anytime soon, but can you have Trinity lose a title match this soon? I mean, they're giving her a title match like, she's had like 3 matches, so they're giving it to her early. And I was like, that'll be, I'm sure they'll do it well. I mean, it is Deanna. So it's not like Deanna's some pushover. Deanna is a fantastic wrestler, but it's just kind of, interesting how that is. So that'll be so maybe when we come back next Sunday, maybe Trinity she'll be Knockouts champion when we come back.
That'd be crazy.
Nikki said $dollar matches rule. They do.
And done well. It's not something that I always say this and then end up liking a lot of them, but it's because the people that do it do a good job. Is like, I don't generally like that form of match, but there just have been some really good ones.
Yeah, there really have.
The last few years.
Brad corrected me. See, I thought that seemed early. Thank you, Brad. See, this is why we're glad you're here. Yana and Trinity is at Slammiversary tonight. They're in he thinks they're in a tag match together. You know, I think you're correct, and thank you, Brad, for correcting me. But still, I am curious. They have Trinity drop her title that early. I mean, win a title that early, which would be great. But but how do you have her lose a big match? But we'll see how that plays out. And we've got some time now, so they'll build that up a little bit. Let's see what else. And since we were talking about, we did talk about Collision a little bit, and so I'm gonna go back to some of the stuff with AEW. One of the bigger angles this week was the MJF Adam Cole,
which I do not have a graphic for because I could not find any on the freaking
because it was just supposed to be
anyway
from MJF, so it wasn't like they are wrestling next Wednesday though.
I was gonna say, are they doing that match when everyone's like, oh,
that's what I said,
pay-per-view and blah blah
blah.
That's
I was
what
like,
I said. No, I'm pretty sure they said next week before they went off the air.
It is next week, I think, because I went back and listened to the clip from the Dynamite show because I wanted to hear what Paul and Jeff had to say about the promo. And then then I thought he said, you know what, I can probably go through the let me look, because they sent out match graphics this week. So I will check, because I think somebody said it was like they do those title eliminator matches where if you beat the champion.
Yep.
So if Adam Cole beats him, then he gets a shot at the title. So this is not, Brad confirmed that MJF versus Cole is an eliminator match. So it's one of those, I don't like this as much. I love the Proving Ground matches. These I'm not a fan of. But so Adam Cole, if he defeats MJF, then he will get a title shot. Which
hang on, I lied. Check it out.
Oh, he does.
You ready?
Look at Mel.
Ooh.
Look at that. Mel's ready.
I was so prepared. I forgot how prepared I was. That is like next level.
It is next level.
You know what? That calls for some celebration.
69 dudes.
You know what I mean? Very nice. It's an eliminator match. So awesome.
Yeah. So
are we building a feud here or what?
What?
Are we building a feud here or what?
I guess so, because it's an eliminator match. So I guess we're gonna somehow revisit this match. I think Jeff Hawkins said that he thinks somehow Adam Cole's gonna get screwed, and that's gonna lead to a rematch down the line, which I could see happening, because that has been the rumor, is that Adam Cole was the next feud, but we're getting the match already, and we had quite an interesting segment to get to that. And so I was gonna ask what your thoughts were on this promo from MJF and Adam Cole.
I thought that Adam Cole won the promo. I think I
didn't think it was as bad as some people, because I
think Adam Cole won the promo. I don't think it was as bad as everyone was burying it. I don't think it was bad by any means. I'm a little confused about building this, whether this is like a real feud that they're building or if this is just a match that they're doing or whatever. And I'm sort of in the mindset of MJF talks a lot and wrestles a little, and I'm tired of that. So in that way, am I sick of hearing Adam or MJF talk? Sure. Does he cut great promos? Absolutely. So it's tough to be like, oh, this segment sucked. It's like, no, it just wasn't.
No,
I wasn't as into it, but I did like the punchline of Adam Cole getting his move in, his shout from the crowd in.
Yeah, he finally got it after.
It kind of like So in terms of like it being a whole segment, it felt whole and rounded.
Right.
But I mean, I'm in the MJF needs to wrestle more.
Right. And it reminded me of the
Yeah.
conversation we had with John last week, because John was saying, this stuff is getting old with MJF. And we talked about how, MJF back in his first promo when he won, he said, how he was just talking about how like I'm tired of this, but I'm sorry, but MJF's promo was like, everybody's gonna hate me by the time that this is over, and he relies on he talks. That was a very long promo, and he spoke for a very long time, and it reminded me of the early stuff when he first started working with CM Punk. And CM Punk, like, he just was going on and on and on. And then when CM Punk finally got to speak, he obliterated him. And he made MJF not look great. And nobody's really been able to do that with him. And so he tries to command everything because he uses the promo, like, because he is a good talker. He just talks too long sometimes. And it was interesting that he used the Karrion Kross promo on Adam, but he did the same thing with CM Punk. He used the ROH promo on him back to build the dog collar match. So this is a thing that MJF does. I disagree with Jeff and Paul. I don't think the Karrion Kross promo is going to hurt Adam Cole, because Adam Cole is not Karrion Kross. Adam Cole is established. Adam Cole is in my opinion, much better than Karrion Kross. I have never been a fan of Karrion Kross. I just can't get into him. And when Adam cut that promo, I agreed with him. So, but I think Adam Cole will be fine. I don't think he obliterated him that much. I think it was just, I don't think Adam Cole was as bad as they thought. And he went with the typical heel thing where he talks about how he's out of shape. Well, of course he's out of shape, because he had a concussion, and he was 2 concussions and was out of the ring for a very long time. And so he's working his way back up. And so I was like, you don't have to body shame him. And then I wasn't, and like, even my friends, like, they were texting when this happened, and they made a reference to how MJF said he would rather off himself than to be there. And they were not thrilled with a suicide reference, which, he does. Obviously, that's what MJF does. He says things to get a reaction out of people, and sometimes they are not the most politically correct things. It made me uncomfortable.
He doesn't. I mean, he's a bully. Like he
pushes
bullying,
the line.
He definitely puts bullying in his. I mean, he is a bully heel, so he definitely uses the petty, hurtful, mean, like
he goes for the low hanging fruit because it's the easiest to get to, that's what he does. So
I mean, and it sucks too, because at the end of the day, and I mean, maybe he's protecting his body, and I know that some of the reason I think that people don't like it is because he continues to do the mentioning Vince McMahon and mentioning
that one.
And that stuff does make my stomach turn, but it makes my stomach turn for the reason of I hate that drama, not that's wrestling. Yeah,
and I know why he does it.
This is wrestling. This is wrestling. That's been going like. Go back to the 90s and watch how those companies tore each other apart, like live on television all the time. Like, this is not anything compared to, or even further back. Like, I mean, they would just outright shame, like, just your wrestling sucks. Watch our wrestling. Like, that was their selling. That's how they sold.
And MJF is he's gonna play the bidding war, the great bidding war 2024. He's gonna play that until we get there.
It's getting boring.
It is, and so like he's gonna make those jabs.
I'm getting to the point where I'm like, just go. Go then. Bye.
Yeah.
There's so many other people on this roster. Fine. Go get your big payday. Go have fun. We'll see you in a few years when you wash out of WWE because you want to be a wrestler again.
He's not going. I don't think he's going anywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if he's already signed a long-term contract.
And I know that's the heat he's looking for, but you better be like, I think even like there was some conversation in the AEW chat about how that can backfire on you. I think it was even someone like John Hughes that was making the argument that he was like, you got to be careful though, because that can actually backfire on you, and people can really actually start to freaking hate that.
Yeah.
and it
Well,
becomes
and
a
like,
wrong kind of heat, and
well,
it's
and
like
Jeff Hawkins made the
uh-oh.
point that this became about WWE because he was like, "Well, Vince was right. You were not good enough, and you can't hack it there," which is completely false. But
Yes.
he did make the promo. I mean, they did make it the feud about WWE, which is unfortunate because like Brad says, at least Cole is someone who can go toe to toe with MJF in the promos, and that's why I was hoping for a little bit more from Adam, but also MJF took a lot. He took a lot of the promo time because he talked a lot.
Well, and you got to imagine that even like he knows exactly how much time that he's going over, and I absolutely like wouldn't be surprised if he was like going over on purpose. Like he's the kind of person, he's the kind of talent that would absolutely steal as much time as
I mean,
possible.
I think the match will be really good, and I hope this is a longer feud. I think they both need it.
Well, they can both wrestle. This is the thing.
Yeah, they
like
can
MJF can wrestle just because
right. And
doesn't.
and Jeff Hawkins talked about that. He was like, this promo is like, I mean, his promos are always, I talk too much and I wrestle very little. But we know you're a good wrestler. We know that we saw, he's beat Bryan Danielson. He just had a great 4-way match at Double or Nothing. So when he does wrestle,
that Moxley match was one of the best matches on pay-per-view that they've ever had.
Yeah. So MJF can go. So that's not a question anymore. Just like it's no longer a question if Orange Cassidy can go. Like that's that's not a question anymore. So we need to move on to something else and making that for these people who are arguing against MJF. But I think I really hope this feud goes longer because I think that it could be a good one. I think Adam Cole needs something, not with Chris Jericho. He needs to be.
I think Chris Jericho needs to not be on the TV right now at all. They need to do what the Japanese promotions, like, especially after All Together too, like they need to do what those promotions are doing, and they need to start elevating these young guys that they've built up.
Yeah.
They've built these guys up now. Now it's time to elevate them.
Yes, exactly. There's a comment asking what were our thoughts on the steroid comment from Adam Cole, where if you missed it, he said that they wanted to see who was natural. They could both go pee in a cup. And that seemed to irritate MJF. And actually, and a friend sent it we were talking about in the group text, and he said, have there been steroid rumors against MJF? I personally have not heard any. I don't know if this was, and it's interesting because Adam Cole made the comment that he sounded like an internet troll basically, and so
he did.
Like,
I mean, yeah.
So yeah,
he's like, we get it, dude. You sound like you do. You sound like an internet troll. That was
and
a great line.
The comment, I wasn't crazy about it, but I heard, some people apparently took a lot of exception to it. I personally didn't. I think
it's a viable listen. Steroids and wrestling have been married to each other since the beginning of time. So
this is the carniest of carny businesses.
It's like it's real, and just like the history is long and wide and vast, and you can go read about it. But I think it was a fair point, and whether that was selling or for real, it's like a fun question to kind of start to like, are you really all that? Or, because you make a great effort to go after people's working out and doing squats and stuff. Are you doing squats, man? Are you?
Yeah, because he goes after. Yeah, he definitely was going after Adam Cole's physique, but then MJF is also somebody who posts a lot of workout videos. But that doesn't mean that other things.
It's a really easy way to, and it's not as if and
if we're gonna talk about low hanging fruit, then Adam Cole went for some low hanging fruit.
I didn't take any exception to it.
I didn't either.
Steroids to me are so indoctrinated into wrestling culture that to make a comment like that is just like basically saying like, hey, ass, go, yeah. Are you a real wrestler, or are you some carny dude that's like, since you want to be a Vince boy so bad, let's go pee in cups because we all know what the nature of business was over there at some point.
Exactly.
Allegedly.
Yes, allegedly.
Let me make sure.
Yes. And then so another thing that happened with Dynamite that was kind of an interesting main event. It was so we finally get Ricky Starks and Jay White finally gets his main event. So
Mhm.
because some people have been complaining about how Jay White has been used in the 5 minutes he's been here. So he got a
Calm
main
down.
event. He got a main event match on the A show. And then so there were rumors actually before the show was live was that with the collision match that ended up getting made, which we posted the graphic for. So collision's main event is going to be CM Punk and FTR versus Bullet Club Gold with Samoa Joe, which looks like that was a match because it's been rumored that CM Punk wanted to work with Samoa Joe. They've been friends for 20 years. They feuded in ROH. He's taken a liking to Jay White, as he should. So it kind of covers both of those things. They've been angling for a match for CM Punk and all of that. But then there was the Fightful also reported that they were supposedly adding new members to Bullet Club Black and Gold. And it appears that those two members might be the Ass Boys.
Interesting.
So they have.
I think it's a great idea.
You do. Okay.
Absolutely. It's great for those guys. They need to be with people like this is the time to be with Jay. Jay is like, this is where he's at now. He is no longer, he's beyond weight, but he's won that belt. He's won the belt. Like
yeah.
I mean, he was a money-making star in Japan.
Selling out Madison Square Garden.
And the United Center,
yes.
single-handedly.
And Wembley.
So who better to be learning from? And I think it'll be fun. It could even, honestly, because Billy Gunn wasn't, in canon, he was a member of Bullet Club once upon a time. So maybe that's how they get the three of them back together, because it looks like there's some dissension in the ranks with the... there might potentially be some dissension coming up because they've had some little tiffs with the Acclaimed and Billy and him being like, oh, maybe I was a bad dad after all. I mean, it would certainly be a way to advance. I think it would help the Guns a lot to work with Juice and
that. Yeah, I definitely will not argue against that. I don't know that they're ready to be in something like the Gun Club, but I do think they're a really solid tag team. I would give them, especially because even before the title, the title run that they had, they were already really solid. And so I'm not I don't hate them. I'm not a huge fan of theirs either way. I'm just kind of meh on them, but I think that they could potentially be really good. I personally would not have picked, especially when you look at Bullet Club in Japan and they just added Clark Connors.
They've got a lot of young talent that's ready ready to go.
And now they have Dan Maloney.
Guns. Like New Japan's been training Alex Coughlin and Clark Connors and Royce Isaac and all.
Well, now they've got Coughlin and
their time now. Like
they've got Gabe Kidd and stuff like that.
There you go. Then that's what I'm forgetting.
So then you see the Bang Bang Gang over here. They've got the Guns and somebody, and this was a comment here too, as the Gun Club joining the Bullet Club makes sense because of the name, which I saw a lot of people. Some people asked, they were like, are they in Bullet Club because their last name is Gun?
I mean, it does sell itself. I mean, it does this one. I agree with everyone who said it sells itself. It really, really does. I just think that because Jay and Juice were young lions together and came up, and those two are brothers and young lions, and they're like, they need that sort of thing. And they went through.
Point.
I think, and Bullet Club is just the place, because what you do is you put them on the outside and they get like, they're like Minoru Suzuki. You feed them to Suzuki once in a while, or
right.
And they learn to work, and they learn from two guys that know how to cut promos excellently when they are doing the stuff that they're doing. And I mean, Jay is so much stronger than anybody here realizes because they haven't been watching him in New Japan. So it's like, guys, they can give him 5 minutes or 15 minutes. He will get there because he's too good to not get over with everyone here. So it will happen. Like, I'm fine. Jay will be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, Jay will definitely be fine. And Brad made a point. This kind of goes back to what we were talking about with CM Punk being a fan of Jay and how their promos could be insanely good. And I agree with that. I really look forward to. I look forward to people who are not super
Big
familiar with
talkers.
Jay to see what Jay can do on the microphone, because Jay is a phenomenal promo. He's
I had a
really,
moment
really
with
good.
him. I had a moment with him at an anniversary show where I realized how freaking good he was. People will have that moment. I can't wait as people go along for them to have that moment of realization where they're like,
Right.
this guy, like, and still, he's still not that old. Like, he's not like so super old. So he's in a good headspace to be able to communicate with guys that are younger than him.
That's true. Right.
And I mean, gosh, please learn from Jay White.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're gonna learn from anybody,
by all means.
And Brad said the Gun Club as the toadies for Jay and Juice is smart. They're insane, and Juice is insane.
And it's Bullet Club, and they'll get beat up the same way, like Sweet, but they're doing what they're doing with like Jose Fujita, but like he's starting to get like good reps out of that as a result.
Yeah. Yeah. And another thing, like Jay also, I mean, Jay and Juice are so, Nikki and I were talking about how Jay and Juice play so well off of each other, because Jay is, I guess, out of the two is more straight-laced, but he also has a very dry sense of humor. And then Juice is just a wild man.
He's crazy.
So, like, you saw how he came in there after the Gun Club did that, and how he was like bouncing around the ring and the mat, and Juice is just, and we talked about it last week.
Did you see the old Juice start to come out in that Juice?
And that's
this week?
why.
Did you like start to get glimpses?
Yes.
Like, did you have like heartwarming moments?
Yes.
Because there were moments when he was doing his thing, and I was like, people are gonna see Juice.
I'm so ready for it, because I love this Juice so much. And so because it was when I started watching NXT, I was late on NXT because of the network, and I just didn't watch it. And so I saw CJ Parker like right at the very end before he left, and I liked him. But then he went to New Japan, and I got to see Juice Robinson.
I only ever saw Juice Robinson.
I am a huge Juice Robinson fan. I love that guy. And I've been waiting for us to get, because we've gotten the funny, like, I still, like, one of the first promos we got from him, he forgot what city they were in. So I was like, oh my God, these people are going to think that Juice doesn't know what he's doing. But Juice is hilarious. And then he had that great promo on Fred Rosser for their show at Resurgence. It was just, he's so good. And so I'm ready for this Juice to come out, and he's with Jay, and yes, unhinged caveman Juice is the greatest.
Yes. Yes.
He is. And I'm so ready for it. And you know what? If the Guns bring that out in him, then I will take it.
But think about what they can learn from watching that.
Yeah.
Too.
Well,
and I mean, Bullet Club is now that I understand Bullet Club, which I didn't my first couple of years of New Japan, now that I understand like the shenanigans are there for a reason, and how much they get, like, and the fact that like especially Gato and hopefully now Tony will pay them off, because their shenanigans get them in trouble and lead to great storytelling, and because you kind of have that antagonist there all the time, and you have a selection of antagonists to choose from.
Right.
That you can,
well, I mean, and then you've got Bullet Club over there.
They can feed them, like they can feed them to people as like a joke. Like those two could like get those two over by like being like, go wrestle our matches for us, little green boys.
Right. Kind of, yeah, because like Bullet Club is in Impact too. So right now it's currently just everywhere. Kenta's there sometimes, and then ABC are the two who are there the most, is Chris Bay and Ace Austin. And so then like they have people coming in and out of it, and they always like, and you can have Kenta floating between Impact and New Japan and AEW. Kenta is so versatile that he can just fit in anywhere. But yeah, so I'm not 100% sold on the Guns yet. I do see the reasons why, but I think that they will probably prove me wrong. They will probably have me in a few weeks eating my words.
No, how about this? They have a huge opportunity before them to show us that they can be a really great tag team in the future.
Yeah, and I think that because one of my friends sent a text towards the end, and he was like, how many groups do the Guns need? Because they have kind of hopped all over the place. They haven't been able to find like the one thing, and it also brings, I guess it also makes sense with the Guns because of their ties to FTR. They still have not gotten their rematch. Juice has already, him and Jay made a Tony Schiavone sandwich, and Juice had his arm around Tony and wouldn't let him leave, and Tony looked super uncomfortable. And he's like talking all this trash to FTR, and they want the tag team titles as well. Then they've got the Guns who want their titles back, so that could be some interesting storytelling down the line. But maybe the Guns maybe Juice and Jay win the tag team titles, and maybe the Guns are like, hey, we didn't ever get our rematch, so maybe it's something up with them down the line. So
WTF.
So there could be some interesting things going on there. I'm just glad that it looks like they're gonna finally unleash Juice and let him be what. And I think he and Jay are the perfect, like you said, they're young lions. They grew up together, or they came up together in the dojo and stuff like that. And even so, the Guns have, I mean, clearly they have their dad who was in WWE, but Juice was in there. CJ Parker, he was in the NXT stuff. Like, I mean, we all know the famous spot where he accidentally broke Kevin Owens' nose in their match. And even like Kevin Owens has said like that Juice is one of the best promos in the business. And so they've got that. So like not only did they have their dad, but so now they would have Juice and Jay. And I would really like to see, I think Juice and Jay versus the Acclaimed could be fun. The Acclaimed Acclaimed need to do something a little bit different. They need some kind of refocus. And so, because Juice is, it's kind of like Juice and Max Caster, and then Anthony Bowens and Jay White. Like you have the more serious of the two, and then you've got your comedian. And so that could be a lot of fun if they did some stuff with that. And then the Guns obviously they've got their ties with the Acclaimed as well. So I'm looking forward to it. It could be. Maybe I have talked myself into it now that I've talked it out.
I hope that I have helped you, realize.
Maybe I won't hate it as much as I thought. I didn't hate it. I was just like,
no, I don't think you
brought it. I just thought they were. I didn't think it was going to be Samoa Joe. Like I didn't think he was going to be joining Bullet Club, which would have been interesting.
Interesting, but unlikely.
All the match announcement, and they were like, "Oh, it's Samoa Joe," and I was like, "No, I don't think Samoa Joe is joining the Bullet Club."
Yeah, probably not.
Maybe later. I don't think so though. Maybe he'll be the ROH representative.
Maybe
ROH has not. They don't have Bullet Club members in there full time yet, so maybe that. But then, I guess we'll stick with the New Japan stuff, and then we'll get to what you watched. Well, that's still. Do you want to do the Altogether stuff?
We can talk about it quickly because I'm not totally finished with the show.
Yeah,
I just got through and so let's pop this up here real quick. It's been a weird day. I got through like the first part of the show. It was awesome. It's been so much fun. It's a New Japan production, so it's Chris Charlton and Kevin Kelly on the call for this thing. Nice. It was a lot of fun. I did get through the TMDK match, which was awesome. Footage had got a lot of shine.
Good. Oh, and that had Sean Legacy in it.
I was gonna say to you were like, that was Ethan Case's, he was one of Ethan Case's guys, right?
Yep, he's a student.
As soon as he came out, I was like, oh, that's right. He had that was a fun, that was a good match. That was a really good, it was early. I think it was the first card. I don't think it was the prelim. I think it was like the first one because it was actually on there because it was like a legitimate. I just grabbed one of their wonderful thingies there, but I have not gotten to main event because I want to sit and watch it.
Sure.
But so far, I love. Gosh, they got to keep doing this. Kevin Kelly and Chris Charlton, first of all, were marking out about it so hard about like how this is something that goes all the way back to in the early 2000s or like the early 2010s is when they first did one of these. Then it's All Japan, New Japan, and Noah.
That's so cool.
It's all three of the major, and Noah is a splinter group from like an All Japan and a few New Japan guys, but mostly All Japan thing. When Giant Baba passed away, it became like kind of like, how do we keep this thing going? And it shifted around and it changed a lot. And well, it would seem back on track because a lot of those All Japan guys are really impressive. And But what's cool is that sort of like Chris and Kev in their PJs calling the matches because it's fun. It's for charity. It's all going to the Red
Oh,
Cross.
that's awesome. I didn't know that. That's very cool.
So it's a very like it's an just about an exhibition show, except there's like the Kaito Kiyomiya Okada situation, and that's obviously there's
Building
built
to
for
G1.
that. There's some really
and
big
coming
stars
up-
on here. Kento Miyahara is a giant star with those guys, but some of their new guys that are coming up, like Go Shizaki, is back, and that's a big deal, I believe.
Very cool.
I mean, I'm learning very like slowly the sort of All Japan Noah guys.
Sure.
I love that they're doing this, and I love that the doors are open and they're talking about doing them in the future.
That's
and
great.
I kind of got like I got through they have, I think it's All Japan has good looking guys, and there's a crazy guy. That's his gimmick. Is literally crazy guy. His shirt says crazy effing guy. It's a great shirt. He wrestled in the prelim. So it was crazy guy made an appearance on the show. And then it was good looking guys.
They were wrestled Just Five Guys, right? Is that the match?
And then it was them versus Just Five Guys. And what we were all calling, Justin and John and I were calling, and others of us were calling a super guy match, and had many other names for, and the ultimate match, guy match.
That's fantastic.
And Chris Charlton singing Just Five Guys.
I love it.
Theme song while there were to introduce the ultimate guy match.
Oh man. Yeah, because I finally went back. I did on Sunday night. I did go back and watch.
I may have to accidentally let you watch.
Okay. I would not.
You might have to. We might have to stumble on this somehow.
No, I got
it was.
I did get to hear when I went back and watched Dominion. Nikki and I were waiting for it for Chris.
You two would love it.
We were like, "Where's the Just Five Guys song?" And then Gina was like, "What is happening?"
And then at the end, he was like, "That was wonderful. Thank you for singing that to me." And that made me. And I did catch when I went back to the beginning. They said that the Onion turned into Gino Gambino. Because Chris Charlton asked Kevin about the Onion, and he said, "Yeah, it grew into Gino Gambino." That makes sense as to why he's always on broadcast, but he is never really on the broadcast.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, perfect. I love those guys. I love them so much.
I do too.
I realized today when I was watching that I really, 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 really hope they have Gino on in the summer for G1.
G1 needs them. We have.
I think I would hope that Kevin is going to be on the tour. I know that Chris doesn't follow the whole thing because his wife and his family and life, and which is totally cool. And I get that. So that's why Kevin a lot of time has that second chair be someone. Part of me wants Rocky to do some time because that would be like
Cobb is so much fun.
But I like the rotating. I like the rotating host thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would really love it if Gino were there.
I do too. If they are going to go the route of having a second there with him, I would hope that it was Gino. That would be really great. Yes. Oh, and I just remembered because you were talking about Chris Charlton, and this goes back to our conversation about Forbidden Door, is that Sonata may have a match because Chris Charlton hinted at it today, apparently. And actually, I think he hinted at it.
There's a lot of hinting going on
but he hinted it at Dominion as well. He made the reference that that Sonata might be doing.
Kevin Kelly also keeps making issue of Red Shoes doing Shota's matches. Mm-hmm. And he keeps saying that. And I had this whole I fantasy booked it. I figured it out. So what's going to happen is he's going to make such an issue of it that they're going to make it so that Red Shoes can't referee Shota's matches. They'll get someone like Aubrey or Bryce Remsburg or something, or Marty Asami, obviously, or somebody like that has to do all of his matches.
I could definitely.
And that is the time. That will be when Shooter finally comes out in brand new gear and red freaking boots to support his dad.
There we
'Cause
his real dad.
His real
His
dad
real
in
dad,
real
not
life,
his-
his shoot
Not his
dad,
wrestling dad.
double birds.
Ooh. Yes, you have
Shota
the double birds.
Umino
Yeah.
callback
Yes.
to
Perfect.
one of his dad's finest moments
Yeah.
in my life.
Yeah, that moment was great.
That's what I've decided. So that's
I like it.
it's in
I'm
the
here
universe
for it.
now. That's
I'm
it.
here for it.
Because Kevin Kelly keeps making noise about it. And I'm like, what are you saying
Yeah,
that for?
he definitely keeps kind of ringing that bell about
Well,
that.
I
So
don't think it's fair that his dad is the referee to all his matches.
listen,
A pin's a
Kevin.
pin, all right?
Yeah, exactly. Was there anything else from the All Together
Nope,
show that
no,
you wanted to
that was
mention?
it. Shota did wrestle excellently. I did
Good.
catch his match, so he was great. He got a
Good.
singles match on that show, so it was awesome.
Good for him.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard that
Good
show.
stuff.
That's
Go check it out if you're into it. It was only ended up being 28 US dollars, I believe.
yeah, because you can watch it through New Japan World, right?
It's New
And that where
Japan
they
World,
subscribe-
but
yeah,
you gotta be a subscriber.
yes.
So
You gotta pay, and we'll remind you that no, it's early enough that still, even if you join today and pay today, you will still pay on June 30th. They will.
well, you'll still
They'll
you can
get
go
you.
back,
They don't
but that
care.
would make it so you could go back and watch Dominion. You can go back and
It is
watch the
true.
best of Super Juniors matches that are on
Yes,
there. They're
and
not
you'll be
paying
ready
me,
for-
I just love them.
You'll be ready for G1 because
Exactly.
when does G1 start?
July beginning-ish.
Yeah, because it's
Like
it's like 2 weeks
It's not quite 2 weeks
after
after
Forbidden Door,
Forbidden
right?
Door.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's
It's
what I thought.
just
that it
not
was-
quite. It's like barely. It's like
yeah, it's like 12 days.
12
or something
days,
like that.
I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
So speaking of New Japan and matches that will be happening, so Strong, they announced, so at Resurgence, they announced that Strong would be going to Korakuen Hall July 4th and 5th. And so they'll be doing Strong shows there, and we've already gotten 2.5. Well, there is a third match confirmed, but it's not completely confirmed yet. And then we've got some talent that's been listed as well. It looks like Mel's got some graphics for us. So I will let her get that ready. Yes. So this is the
wait. Here it is. I was saving this.
69 me,
Okay.
Don. 69 me, save me.
I'm glad that you got it because I thought you might have, but then you didn't use it. So I was like, maybe she didn't. Maybe she wasn't.
No, I got it.
69 me, Don. 69 me, save me.
That's what Desperado's saying right now.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so how this started was Despy was at last week. GCW had 2 shows. They had Tournament of Survival, which I did not watch, but I did watch the show the following night, which was I believe it was Cage of Survival 2. And I may have just butchered the name of the first show. But Cage of Survival 2, I did watch. It was a mixture of stuff they had. But Despy was he was in the tournament on Saturday, which was a death match show. Despy apparently loved it. He loved bleeding. I think he got knocked out in the first round. But then the next night, he had a fantastic match with Joey Janela. It was a death match. They had this board that had cut off like soda cans, and so they were all jagged and they were stuck to a board, and yeah, that was that was intense. But so Despy like cuts a promo talking about how like he loves violence and all this stuff, and he called out Jon Moxley, said he wants to face him again, and we were wondering when that was going to happen, and Jon Moxley answered pretty quickly the next day.
Sure did. I watched
day,
that promo I was like, wow, that was fast
Jon
and
Moxley's
scary.
like, oh, you're gonna call me out? You want some violence? Let's get some.
He
So not
was
only
like-
that, not only are we getting Jon Moxley versus Despy, Jon Moxley is bringing Homicide with him as his tag team partner. With Despy he can choose whomever he would like as
whoever
his partner.
whoever
will sign up to
out
wrestle
there.
Jon Moxley and
Whoever you can
Homicide.
drag out there is Moxley's drag to the
Right.
ring with him. God, I love when Moxley cuts his like super like edgelord promos when he's just like, oh, I'm gonna kill you, and you can
Right.
bring whoever you want
And-
that dares to walk in the ring.
He mentioned it. So John mentioned it in a promo at Dominion, and then he also mentioned it in this promo. John Moxley has a resident card, which means he can go to Japan and wrestle whenever he wants. So just perfect timing for him to come wrestle Despy in Japan over Independence Day. So this match is happening on night 1, which makes me wonder if night 2, if we're getting Mox versus Despy 1-on-1. Maybe, possibly. And so Brad says Despy better be bringing his buddy Jun Kasai. Eddie Kingston might take out Homicide so that he can face him.
I don't know if Eddie can go to that so close to you.
Actually, well, Eddie has a match on this show, which we will get.
So it must
we will get to. Eddie will
before.
hopefully be cleared. A match has been announced, but we'll get to that momentarily. But yeah, so I personally would pick Yano to be my partner because John Moxley clearly fears him. That is the one man that John Moxley fears. And so if I were Despy, I would pick Yano.
Right.
Even though Jun Kasai,
because we had this conversation last week, he beat him in the G1.
Yes, exactly. See? So that's who
there was some shenanigans involved. Kevin Kelly's monitor went out, so I really don't know what happened.
Well, you can never tell with those monitors. They're so fickle.
Fickle.
They are fickle. So Brad says Despy's English is much, much better than I imagined. Yes, I was very surprised. His it was really good.
Yeah, he was great. Yeah,
he was phenomenal, and he seems to really and also Despy. So we know how we have Kojima who loves the bread. Trader Takeshita loves.
He was on the show today too.
He loves the cinnamon rolls, which they put on his new shirt. But then Despy loves bagels, and he is very excited that there's so many bagel shops in America that he could get bagels. And he posted a picture.
Not as many as he thinks, but yes, I mean,
he was very excited about.
I'm excited for him because I am also a big fan of bagels.
I enjoy them, so I'm
very picky about my bagels, but you know.
So yeah, I'm very much with Kojima with the bread, but also Takeshita with the cinnamon rolls. So these Japanese men have great taste in food and American food.
You guys are carb masters. You're even good at carbs.
Yeah, right.
Good job, boys. Well done.
In addition to this match, we have Eddie Kingston versus Kenta.
Oh no, that one
for I believe it is for the strong title because Kenta won that at Resurgence. Then he called out Eddie Kingston, told him he was from New Jersey, which I was like, he's gonna murder you for saying that because you clearly you've purposely said the wrong state. I was like, that right there is fighting words enough on its own. So now, Eddie Kingston hopefully will be recovered from his hernia surgery, and I'm betting that even if he wasn't, he would still go to Japan to fight Kenta.
I'm pretty sure he would.
So that match is taking place. I think that's night 1 as well. I may be wrong about that, but that match is happening, which I cannot wait for that match. Brad,
there we go.
I didn't think about it, but now I need it. Imagine Eddie and Willow holding the strong titles at the same time. I want that timeline. Well, now I do too, because I had not thought about that until you.
Why did you have to do that? Why did you have to do that to her, Brad?
I need, as much as I love Kenta, I need him to drop that title to Eddie, and I need Eddie to be in the G1 with that title. Nikki said yes, Brad. Okay, well now we have.
Well, we need this I guess it's been decided, wrestling gods.
I'm sorry, Kenta. I love you. But you can keep your Defy title.
Yeah, you've got the Defy title.
Yeah, you'll still have a title.
Plenty of summer and plenty of cards.
It'll make your luggage lighter to have one belt versus
there
2
you
belts.
Go. I agree with that.
And then Eddie can be very kind and take the other belt because he's such a kind person. He can take the strong title with him. And then Willow, and apparently Willow has not been announced for this card. However, when she was wrestling on ROH last night, Ian will obviously be there because he is the lead strong commentator. He mentioned Willow, and he was saying that if she were to lose to Rachel Ellering, then that would give her the opportunity to go to Japan for the strong show. So it sounds like Willow will be defending her strong title in Japan, which is what I thought I was hoping for. But this timeline kind of got thrown off that show. But I'm glad to see it. So it sounds like Willow will be on that card. So then So that's perfect time for Eddie to win because then Eddie and Willow can celebrate in the ring together with their strong titles. And that
That'd be
is the thing that
wonderful.
I need to happen now.
I'm into this. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. It's decided. It's done.
It's done.
And then the other official match is Clark Connors and Dan Maloney versus Akira and TJP because this goes back to the Dominion show.
Oh, that's right. Well, they've had it actually goes back to Best of Super Juniors even.
Yes. Well, yeah, actually you're correct. You are correct about that.
Ooh,
it does go back to that, but then the turn happened at Dominion when Clark Connors came out there and distracted them while Dan Maloney turned on them. It was perfect. It was really well executed. We have talked about how Dan Maloney had not won us over yet. He wasn't showing us anything. He was just, he's a solid wrestler. He's just there. Not sure why he's in United Empire. Not very charismatic. But then he executes a fantastic heel turn to join the Bullet Club. So, and of course, TJP and Akira did not take too kindly to that. So they have a match. I don't know if this is night one or
really
night
good
two.
wrestling. So
Yeah,
they've been wrestling excellent. I mean, they're a lot of fun to watch. I'm into this just because like I've liked this matchup. It's been good. Like, all these guys wrestling together, wrestling each other. I like it. It's good.
Yeah, it'll be a good show. And then
that's great. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, and so while we're waiting for more matches to be announced, we do know some of the talent that will be there. So if you are familiar with Strong, well, some of these were actually in the G1 last year. So West Coast Wrecking Crew will be there. They have been announced. Team Filthy will also, well, I believe it's just Filthy Tom and Jarrell. I believe. Well, no, it was maybe Royce. I can't remember. Brad, do you know if Royce Isaacs? I feel like I did. Actually, I do think Royce Isaacs is going to be on there. I think I do remember seeing his picture, unless I'm using it with something else, which is possible. So they will be on it. And Bad Dude Tito.
Oh my God. I'm in.
Yeah. So he may not
buy.
He may not be in the G1, but he will be there. So, and Brad confirmed that Royce is going as well.
Okay.
He's West Coast Wrecking Crew. What am I talking about? I was thinking of team. I was getting my teams confused over here.
Getting my Team Filthies and my Wrecking
Yes,
crews.
I'm getting my things overlapped.
I'm getting my crazy guys confused.
But I'm excited because they're all going.
Well, that's probably why you got it all mixed up. They're so good. They just all taste so good together.
I'm very excited for this. And I know Brad and Nikki watch Strong as well, but if you've watched the show, especially from the beginning, you know that Mel and I are huge Strong fans. So I'm very excited that Strong is still continuing in some form or fashion, and they've been doing some really cool stuff with it. So I'm glad all of them are getting to go to Japan and do some stuff. I believe Fred Rosser will probably he's got to be on this card as too, because Fred Rosser has been.
Is this in Japan? Is that where this is?
Yes. So the Independence Day shows are July 4th and 5th at Corkin Hall.
Okay, that's what I was just trying to, because I just realized I'm looking at this graphic and this is not looking like it's in America. And I'm like, wait, we don't have, I was like, wait, we have our lineups basically now set for our yearly big like New Japan Strong shows. We kind of have regular shows that are starting to fill in. So nice, interesting. Yeah, this is like a huge. This has got to have some kickoff to the G1 rim.
Right. And this is the first time that the Strong brands have run shows in Japan. So that's really cool. And so I think it shows that they haven't given up on this brand, which I'm glad to see.
They're almost making like an ROH out of Strong.
I'm not mad at it.
Like a New Japan version, like their version of it. Which is fine with me, because
I'm not mad at it at all. I'm
glad.
No. I love these people. I'm so glad they found.
One of the first things that brought us together. Was
I was gonna say, if you've been watching Mel and I from the beginning, then you know that we love, like we go hard for the Strong brand. So we're very glad to see this. So that's why I wanted to make sure we brought this up, because they're going to be doing some stuff. Oh, Brad, you know what? I think I did see you tweet about that. So Brad said they used the New York Rangers red and blue color and font, as well as the Rangers Liberty Head third jersey logo. Someone over there is a Rangers hockey fan and has my heart. Brad, is it you? Are you the one? Are you making graphics for them?
You did it. It was you. You're a graphic designer in disguise, aren't you? He's been this whole time. He's been making the posters.
It's got to be it.
That's it. I know it. I'm starting all kinds of conspiracies this week. I'm with Mike Gilbert. Mike's all over the aliens and UFOs and stuff. Like, we're going hard on conspiracies this week. So
there we go.
Let's go.
Perfect.
I mean,
now we'll have the wrestling one.
He would literally probably. I mean, like, if anybody's gonna know if the aliens are real,
this is true.
We go back to this. He sent me a fantastic. I have, as a total aside, because you'll get a total kick out of this. Mount Kilauea decided to erupt this week.
I saw that.
And he lives in that area, which he said often on his show. So it's not like I'm blowing up his spot or anything. But right. I was like tweeting at him, and James and I were like, "Get out of there!" And he was like, "It's nowhere near." So he drew us a handy graphic that y'all need to go onto the Twitters that I've been showing you. It's in mine. It's also in Mr. Peppermint Fatty's there. You go check your Uncle Peppermint Fatty. Mike Gilbert drew us a very scientific and informative graphic as to where he was in the chain of islands so that we could be at ease. So
good. Well, I'm glad that he took the time.
I hope that you people appreciate the amount of the length of scientific exploration that was done to build that graphic.
I'm glad that he did that. I need to go check it out. I somehow missed that, so I need to go. I definitely need to go check that out.
You'll really appreciate it now that I've said that to you.
Yes,
it's
we got a bunch of great art last week with the BOSJ art. I got to go see Mike Gilbert's art.
He is. I mean, this scientific is. I mean, I learned geography and science from it. Wow, it was amazing.
That's a very informative map. Then
yeah, you have to check it out. It's good stuff. Love those guys.
Yes, we do. Yeah,
and so I think this whole network. I can't mark out enough about this.
Yes,
network.
And like we said at the beginning of the show, definitely make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel and that you check out the Fight Game Media Patreon as well. There's a lot of it's $5 a month, and there's a lot of coverage of a lot of different wrestling over there at the Patreon. There's a lot of really good people over there who, if you can spare the $5 a month or you pay the yearly fee all at one time, they would greatly appreciate that. And as I always say, check out our YouTube channel because you can see clips of all of the shows and get an idea of what the content is like on Patreon before you even spend your $5. You can come check that out, and there's there's so much good content on the YouTube, and there's content. We have content everywhere.
Yeah.
So we've got you covered wherever you're listening to podcasts. And if you're on the YouTube, we're on Twitter. Fight Game Media is on Twitter as well. They're on Instagram at Fight Game Media. So
all the stuff there. It's really the subscription to the YouTube is like, next to being a Patreon subscriber, is like the greatest thing that you can do for all of us here, because that helps. It helps raise our scores. It helps us work the algorithm. We have the
algorithm is important.
You are all YouTube watchers. You all know how this works. And it's just it's super helpful for especially us. And what, like Sam said, you can go over there and you can check out clips from all the shows, including the Patreon shows. So you can decide if you want to do the Patreon stuff. And there's a lot of really fun stuff over there. Yeah. So it's no commitment, and it's the easiest thing you can do for us. That really honestly helps us.
And I know it's
even cheaper than the Patreon because you literally only have to up thumb something.
Right. Yes. Putting a thumbs up on the videos, even especially on the little clips too, that helps. Commenting on the clips helps. That pushes it. It pushes it because you know how the algorithm is. You got to play the game, and so liking our videos helps push it up. The comments, especially, we love talking to you guys, and so we appreciate that, having the conversations. But that also helps us as well, getting the content.
Well, we can make our graphics better, you guys. That's true. How it happens. That's how magic doesn't happen without money.
Yes.
And we are magical AF.
Yes. And then you can follow us both on Twitter. It's Friday. Rampage will be on shortly, so I'll be live tweeting that. I will also probably be live tweeting the Braves because they're on as well. I have the game on currently.
Oh, goody. It's a double night. We are getting, we already are going up against, we're going up against SmackDown. We're going up against On Patrol Live. Oh my God. Impossible.
Going up against Peppermint Fatty over there too.
Oh, he is just like, I mean,
He's killing
God,
it over there with
he
them. I'm
crushes
happy for him.
everything he touches.
They're killing it.
Yeah, big shout out to those guys. They always support us, just like the guys at Dynamite Show. All the people we called out today are wonderfully supportive of us. So we give out to them. I can take the piss out of them all that I want to.
as you should.
I don't think they would expect any less.
No, probably not. And hopefully some of them will come be on the show with me when you're at Forbidden Door.
I think if you put the invitation out there, they would all. Like,
it was mentioned the other day, but I'll put it out there again. And then, of course, like Nikki said, she has volunteered as tribute as well, so that you don't have to listen to me talk to myself for an hour and a half.
I don't think that'll happen. I think there's a lot of people that want to talk about Forbidden Door, and they love the pre-show.
Yeah.
So.
And we love the pre-show. It's our thing now, so we look forward to it. But yes,
so got one more time because
yes, please.
69 me done. 69 me saved me.
Nikki had said earlier we had moved on, but she said she had been waiting for that. So thank you for giving.
I made you guys. It was tough to find. But I could not leave.
There's no way we can have a nice episode without that. It doesn't.
I'm so glad that Nikki reminded me that I made it my mission to find one that was like usable to be on the, like, I found the clip. We appreciate you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me, Nikki.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
But we loved it. But yes, so thank you for hanging out with us on a Friday night. We know it's not our usual time slot, but family things are happening on Sunday, and we had to get a nice episode out. We had to, and it just perfect timing to have it happen on 6/9. So we appreciate
69 dudes.
Exactly. So we had to have it, and we appreciate you coming to hang out with us live. If you're watching the replay or listening to the audio later, we appreciate that too. And we will be back next Sunday at our normal time slot to come talk to you. So you're gonna have 10 days without us, but we'll be back.
You'll make it. You'll be all right.
Nikki said she had fun on the nicest episode. Well, I'm glad that you did, because we had a good time too.
Nice.
Yes.
You guys have a great Friday night.
Have a nice night.